Thank you for joining us for another power-packed message from one of our powerful and most inspirational and motivational preachers, leaders, speakers, and teachers from Motivation for Wisdom, where we bring wisdom and insight and help you find the leader within you at the tip of your fingers. We hope this message is a blessing to you as you advance your life and discover your true purpose and potential. Now let's go straight into the message.
Before then, please like and subscribe to this channel so that you won't miss any of our exclusive contents, videos when we upload them, and comment below I have subscribed and we will get to your comments and reply to you. Having said that, let's begin.
We don't not only not reproduce leaders, we make sure there is no leader around us. We don't want any competition. We kill our mentees. When you look at the third world countries, and this is why we focus on them so much, the third world leaders have never been trained. Colonialism made sure that they never trained the slaves. So when the vacuum appeared, when the colonial powers left, we had a lot of slaves who were wearing crowns. Now, woe to the land when a slave becomes king. Because an insecure person who never was trained to use power properly will use it on his own family. If you study all the third world nations, the struggles they have, they are always going through coups. And sometimes it's not even with bullets. They got sophisticated strategies now to kill off their so-called oppositions. They actually used to kill people. I'm talking about cousins and uncles and brothers. You know, here's a brother who becomes the president, and his other brother, the people like him better. He'll kill his brother because he tied his worth to the position and the title. So mentoring is the farthest thing in his mind. He can't let go. Do you know, write this word down, one of the greatest weakness of leadership is entitlement. A sense of entitlement. This position belongs to me. I've been here for 40 years. How dare you come to take my position? I've been the director of this department for 40 years, 30 years. I've been the prayer warrior leader for 40 years. I've been the deacon. I've been in charge. I've been the usher for 40 years. You are sick. You can't let go. We believe we are entitled to something. Let me say a word to you religious people here. I used to be religious, so I could talk to you. There is so much leadership power plays in the church that I know that God himself disowns most of what we do. This is why, for example, from my understanding of Scripture, I could be wrong, but God never called an elder. Elders are never called. There's no such thing as the position, how can I say it? Elder is not in the list. You got pastor, prophets, evangelists, teachers, apostle, okay? Elder. Now, why is there no elder and deacon in that list? Because these are always delegated powers. Which means they lend you power. It never belongs to you. They can take it back whenever they want. In other words, whoever you appoint, you can disappoint. So when you appoint someone in a religious environment and say, okay, you are now a deacon, you are now an elder, they think that's a calling. You weren't called to that. That was delegated power. You are never called to be an elder. That's not a calling. That's a privilege. So don't feel like you are entitled to that. I just belong. You're not an elder because God called you. You're an elder because the pastor chose you. He could unchoose you. So when we start telling people don't sit down or don't do this or I'm going to change you, they get mad and leave the church. They have no idea that that was a privilege, not a right. Again, we got to remember even the positions of apostles and prophets are not permanent. These are functions that are temporary. You remember Elijah, right? He tried to tell God, hey, I'm the best you got. God said, I'll fire you today. I got 70 people in line to take your 7,000 to take your place. What are you talking about? You're not my favorite. It's a privilege. So don't be afraid to let go. And if you are a wise leader, you'll be happy to train people so you can move on to the next spot. We don't develop leaders because we are afraid of letting go, because we have tied our life to our title. And this is why people today are committing suicide all over the world, because their jobs were tied to their worth. And when they were fired because of downsizing or the crisis, they lose it, put a gun to their head. They go home and drink alcohol and go into a stupor. Why? Because they lost their lives, because their life was their jobs. Write this down. Plan your next position now. Always live beyond your position. The fifth reason why we don't reproduce leaders, number 6, is we put paperwork before people work. I mentioned this before. We become so caught up in administration matters, so preoccupied with organizational issues, that we forget the real purpose for leadership, and that is people. Take time to train people. You know, I walk around my entire organization very often. I go into every department. I touch everybody all the time. They'll tell you. Why? The ivory tower lifestyle is demonic. Training is when you get down and you touch, you talk. How's your family? How you doing? What's your challenge right now? I walk around the organization and I see things that need to be done that no one sees, you know. Oh, that needs changing. Oh, why is this like this? How long has it been like that? What? Let's fix that. That's leadership. You got to walk down. You got to get that basin with a towel. Get away from paper and find the people. Most of the leaders that I have encountered, they hide in their office from the people. Leadership is about serving people, not typing. If you leave us an excellent memo but didn't leave us a good person, you are a failure. Go back and make some changes. Restructure your priorities from this day forward. Let 2010 be the year that you become a people developer. Be a true leader. The 7th reason why we do not reproduce leaders is because of the absence of affirmation in our own lives. You know, sometimes we find it hard to affirm people because we were never affirmed. We need to feel confident enough to be able to say to people, that's a great job. I want you to do this again for me. Matter of fact, why don't you take this entire project and run with it? Because you are very good at what you do. I am so proud of you. How many times have you said that to the people you work with? I'm talking about walk through the whole company and just affirm people. No, we don't want to affirm anybody. We want them to be afraid of us. We threaten them with our presence. You don't say good things to your staff. Why? Oh, because they may take your job. They may actually think that you are soft. What are you talking about? Only confident people affirm others. I challenge you to be leaders who produce leaders. Affirm people. Let go. You know, I could have decided to be the pastor of the church that we started and be a pastor still. I was so quick to get rid of that. I have no need for power. Power is a tool that you use to improve other people. Power is a tool to empower others. Let them run the whole thing. They can do a better job than you anyhow, so let them take it. Why don't we produce good leaders? Because we have no room for mavericks. We don't want anyone who could compete with us or outshine us. The goal of leadership is to get people to outshine you, so that when they do, you take the credit. That's wisdom. When I think of my mentor, Jesus Christ, wow. The Bible says when the disciples came back and told him that they cast out demons and they healed the sick and they raised the dead, it says in that moment, Jesus rejoiced. Re means to return. Joyce means to jump. That means he kept jumping from one spot to another. So when you rejoice means to act. It's a physical thing. Can you imagine God on earth dancing because some other people did something great? Do you rejoice when the folks around you look good? Don't be afraid of mavericks. Mavericks are folks who will question your systems. Why? Because they ain't working anymore. They'll give you ideas to break up your old traditions. And you, of course, are protected by those positions, and your traditions protect your position. So if your traditions protect your position, you don't want anybody to touch the traditions. And Margaret comes and changes the traditions, and you don't want to lose your position, so you kill the maverick. So you not allow the maverick to develop. You don't produce leaders. This is number 1. Number 10, we don't reproduce leaders because we have a dictatorship spirit in decision making. We like to tell people what to do. We don't encourage debate, consensus, ideas. We don't allow people to solve problems by themselves. You know, it's amazing that most of our organizations run by our people. Matter of fact, all of it. Dr. Pinder, who's here this morning, will tell you that, you know, every department operates by itself. Because we've got intelligent leaders. I don't want an organization with a leader. I want an organization of leaders. Let me say it again because you missed it. See, the traditional concept of leadership is you have an organization with a leader. That's not God's concept. God's concept is I want an organization of leaders. Allow people to make decisions. So here's some principles then of mentoring people. Number 1, be honest with correction and praise. These are practical. Please write these down. I'm telling you that this stuff will work as soon as you get back. First, be honest and correct with correction and praise. If someone needs correction, tell them. That's part of the training. If they did something well, praise them. That's also part of the training. Number 2, give them recognition and praise. Tell people how well they're doing. Affirm them. Have a perspective of people, of the organization. Have vision of the needs of the future. In other words, look at what you need in the organization and start preparing people to fill those positions. Train people for positions that are either coming or emerging. Next, manage things and develop people. Sometimes we try to manage people. You cannot manage a human. The human is too complicated. They are an organism. You can't manage an organism. Most of the time you think you're controlling people. If you knew what they were thinking, you would die. You can't manage a human. They have a will. Even God can't manage a human. He paid the price for their salvation and still can't save them. He said, whosoever will. In other words, even though I prepared everything, you still can refuse me. I can't manage even your salvation. but you can manage a copier. You can manage a printer. You can manage a computer, but you can't manage people. So settle it now. I am an equipment manager and a people developer. Computers don't change. People do. Next. Mentoring has to do with association, not instruction. So only through association is there transformation. In mentoring, the person has to be with you. I was sharing with the makeup lady this morning. I said, you know, the only way for someone to really be a good mentee is they got to be present. Every opportunity they have, they should be with the mentor. And many of you who are in our mentoring program, I want to strongly urge you, every time we have a conference, try to be present. Because you want to be near the mentor. You know, let me reveal something that you probably never saw before. Joshua was mentored by Moses. Miriam was his sister. His brother was Aaron. They had pride problems. Remember, you cannot learn from someone you are jealous of. So Aaron and Miriam were jealous of Moses. You cannot learn from who you're jealous of. If you're jealous of me, as a trustee, for example, you can't stay here. You find it uncomfortable because first of all, I ain't got time for your jealousy. I'm too busy. And secondly, you can't learn from me. Because if you're jealous, you look for criticism. Aaron couldn't handle Moses. He started another organization in 40 days. Remember that? Moses went to the mountain, and Aaron and those folks started a new company. Why? Well, who does Moses think he is? Let's just start and take over. Let's start a new church. Yeah. And Miriam never came against her brother. She should have said no. She never said a word. Why? Remember, she was hungry for power too. She was silent. And people died in that situation. Many died. Your lack of respect for leadership could kill other people.
All for today. If you like this video, you better smash that subscribe button or I'll take your cat. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.